Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. As always, when you leave a comment, when you leave multiple comments, when you leave a like or subscribe, all of these things are very easy to do and they do help out the channel immensely. Always very much appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. There's a lot to cover. As always, the cryptocurrency space, if nothing else, is never boring. Over the last, I want to say 28 or so hours, the cryptocurrency market has been experiencing a bit of a boom, if you will, in prices. Prices are rising across the board. We have pulled back a tiny bit for some altcoins. However, the optimism still remains. It says Bitcoin spikes above $41,000. Here's what's next for Bitcoin's price. It says Ethereum bounces above $3,000, once again outperforming Bitcoin on the weekly chart. The world's second largest cryptocurrency, Ethereum, is once again showing strength over. It's not a competitor, it's just Bitcoin. The Ethereum price has surged 6% as of press time, crossing the crucial resistance of $3,000 levels. Even Bitcoin has registered a 3.5% jump, moving past $42,000. Ethereum is up by 20% over the past week, I believe, against Bitcoin. Don't ever try to make that mistake. They're not competitors. They're simply in the same exact race, and there can be multiple winners. That's something that people tried to do in 2016 and 2017, basically stating that anything that wasn't Bitcoin was a competitor. Everything can work together. That's just how it is. It says Bitcoin tests $42,000. Ethereum reaches $3,000. Algorand and Ethereum Classic are accelerating. I read an article earlier discussing why Ethereum Classic has been actually moving up in price. If you remember a lot of the news that we've been getting about not only Bitcoin, but super accumulation when it comes to Ethereum by whales and even just normal everyday people, if you will, who are trying to get to 32 Ether, who are trying to accumulate as much Ether as possible. Because the news that we've gotten is that once the upgrade happens, Ethereum's issuance rate is going to be 10% of where it currently is. If you remember before, I think the thing that it was, what was it? 15,000 Ether per day, and then it shows it going down to 1,500 Ether per day with the little guy in the meme saying they have no idea what's going on. That kind of thing. So as more people accumulate a lot of Ethereum, it appears that the news that I read as a speculation as to why Ethereum Classic is actually moving up, it's that apparently people who are mining Ethereum, when they can no longer do so, will simply switch their computers to Ethereum Classic to try and still make some of that good old proof of work money. I mean, it does seem to make a lot of sense. There was a lot of anger from a lot of the people who are mining Ethereum over the really good money that they were making before, which would completely dwindle down and kind of give money back to the holders or investors of Ethereum as opposed to the actual, almost said bankers, to the actual miners of said coin. But that is, of course, mega speculation from an article that I read. So here's actually, let me tell you what I think is really going on. I still think we're in this really weird price sideways tight range trend. For those of you who are actually looking at the screen, it's simply because I'm going to show you immediately after this. There's a huge amount of news right now flowing around. A lot of people believe that Bitcoin is on the cusp of, and I mean of, absolute greatness. I saw on Twitter yesterday, I don't remember the name of the Twitter handle, but it kept on popping up on my timeline. I don't know if Twitter has a timeline. It was one popular analyst, YouTuber person who announced that they were going to do I think a giveaway if Bitcoin's price did not hit $50,000. Basically, and I looked back at their other tweets, and they were, since Sunday, they kept on promoting the idea that Bitcoin this week was going to hit $50,000, and I was like, I mean, it would be lovely. I don't think many people would actually be upset, but I feel like we have at least a couple of more weeks to go. Just simply because if you look at the actual chart, first of all, every single cryptocurrency right now is completely oversold. But Bitcoin, for some reason, has been within this range for a very long time. The range, if you will, is tightening. And we've seen this before, not to make my normal or usual joke, but in a real manner of speaking. I think one of three things could possibly happen. Obviously, we continue on this trend, going on further and further. I think we could be in or up for another really heavy drop, or we are at the end of the actual accumulation period that we've been seeing going on for a very long time, and this is going to be the movement upward. Notice how I did not give a clear this is going to happen, because nobody knows what's going to happen. The last 2 years have shown us that it's been absolute chaos in nearly every single way. But you can even see Bitcoin's price is constantly roughly around this one line as far as when it goes up. And this high right here is around $42,000, $43,000, and then it ends up moving back down. And also this level right here seems to be the bottom price level, of course, with some extra heavy dips along the way, but it seems to recover roughly around here. So as it stands right now, I mean, I would love if Bitcoin shot back up in price. And the optimism is definitely there. I think I haven't seen this much hope floating around the cryptocurrency space in a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, because a lot of people really do believe that we are ready to go like right now. Here's another one. It says Bitcoin price to surge above $45,000 this week. Traders should look at these levels. This one says, altcoin massive rally on the horizon. Here's what's next for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and AVAX. I have no idea what AVAX is. And don't tell me that I should know what AVAX is. I have no idea what AVAX is. So that's roughly nearly all of the price news. A lot of optimism. We have, and I mean a slight dip in price today. It is nothing dramatic. It's nothing absolutely insane. It's not a 25% drop. It's like 0.5% from when we went up by 3 or 4% over yesterday, and I believe some of the day before. Tying into that as well, this was also quite popular news over the last couple of days. It says Ethereum whales seem to have found a sweet spot in Shiba Inu, and the newly listed Bored Ape Yacht Club's Apecoin, splashing hundreds of millions of dollars in Shiba and Ape purchases, according to transaction data picked up by Whale Stats, a resource that broadcasts crypto transactions by crypto whales. An unknown Ether wallet purchased a whopping 3.7 trillion Shiba Inu on Saturday, spending roughly around $89 million, with the transaction costing only $6 in fees. The whale entity, which is ranked 216 on Whale Stats, now holds Ethereum worth $168 million, which is around 59% of its total holdings. A lot of, and I really do wonder why it's just Shiba Inu as far as the only one that ends up making the news. I assume that there are whales also buying Solana and buying Cardano and buying XRP somewhere behind the scenes, because everyone is putting their chips down where they believe, you know, some of these other coins could actually go. But for some reason, it's always just Shiba Inu that ends up making this like whale purchase news. To be fair, 7.5, first of all, the fact that they even have trillions of coins is a lot. But that's a huge amount of money to just throw into something. I think one of the more logical reasons I can figure out is a lot of these, not even meme coins, it's relatively newer coins on the market. If you happen to throw random number, $100 million into one of these coins, and you have any indication that if the market does move up, this coin is also going to move on the chart, on the so-and-so, on the whatever the other analysts are looking at, it's relatively easy over the course of a 6 week, I give you 6 week pump in the market for prices to actually go up, for altcoins to perform by 10, 15, 20% per day over the course of a 6 week period. And even more so for this coin to go up by simply 300% at the same exact time. Well, buddy boy, then you've made $200 million. And this is why I think that we see more investment in certain coins than other ones. This is at least my opinion. I think a large portion of the market puts their money, I would dare even say, like, let's say around $1 to $2, $3, $4, $5, maybe $6,000 in anticipation or hopes that the market would pump so much they end up making $500,000, $250,000, maybe even the grand $1 million, which is a huge movement up in the market. However, for gigantic whales, any amount of money that you put in, even if the market it went up around 7-8%, that's still millions of dollars that they've made. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. But Shiba Inu's news always tends to make the headlines within the cryptocurrency space when it comes to accumulation. And to finish off the price news, now this was also quite popular. He's back in the news once again. Quantitative analyst Plan B is unveiling a possible scenario where leading digital asset Bitcoin skyrockets to $300,000 this year. Now, stepping back for one moment, what's really funny is I was looking at older articles. I don't know why I was looking at older articles. It's just what I do. Do you remember in 2020, I'm pretty sure it was the middle of 2020, where we had news or something leaked from JP Morgan Chase where they were telling their investors the future price of Bitcoin. There were other banks who were doing it, but JP Morgan seemed the most juicy. Wrong word, but you understand. And I looked at the article again, and it kind of clicked in my head the time frame. We got that news in 2020. Their article, or what they told their investors, was that by the end of 2022, they expected Bitcoin's price to be $288,000. And this is what I think is causing a huge amount of momentum in the market. JP Morgan Chase being the largest bank in the world, many people within the cryptocurrency space may not take their words to heart, but understand that people on Wall Street or other big players, they hear those words. They hear that the other banks are also jumping into the cryptocurrency space, and it causes a lot of energy. And this is why, my opinion, why I think we've been seeing so much momentum the last month or so, if you've been paying attention to all these analysts being like, this is it. This is the moment. Prices are going to skyrocket. I assume it's because not only of the heavy accumulation, and we see that less and less Bitcoin is actually on the exchanges, but also the other words that we've been getting about that it's a perfect storm with the other worldly events that are going on. The US dollar actually inflating regardless of what the US Fed is telling us. So yeah, this is, once again, grain of salt. You can't see, but I'm digitally handing you each a grain of salt. I'm actually moving my hands around. It looks a little crazy. The point is, when Bitcoin does eventually get to $300,000, we will know the reason why. But I think we are re-entering a bit of a hype period, which isn't bad at all for the market or for the space. But just understand that numbers can get a bit askewed. So I could totally see us hitting a $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 Bitcoin. I've said it before. I could even see us hitting a $120,000 Bitcoin. $300,000 this year? Question mark. The pseudonymous analyst took to Twitter to tell his 1.7 million followers that the stock-to-flow model is hinting at a big price rise for Bitcoin. Plan B is known for applying the stock-to-flow, which is traditionally used in commodities markets, and compares an asset's supply to the rate at which it is being produced. While Bitcoin has recently underperformed relative to his stock-to-flow model, the analyst says big rallies are still in the cards for the flagship crypto, and he wrote just a scenario, depending on how you say it. So, at the moment, that's all the price news. There's a lot of optimism. I like it. I would rather have optimism over pessimism. In the cryptocurrency space, I do still believe that we should be a lot higher in price, but looking at where's the price chart? I don't know where it is anymore. Is it here? It's right here. I still think we are in a weird accumulation phase, or rather, I know that we are. We know that we are. We've been getting that news for quite a while now. But should Bitcoin hit $50,000 by Friday? I'll even give it Saturday afternoon. I don't think many people would be too upset. Yeah, that's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. In the second, I guess you can choose which one is more popular, news story of the day. It's been over 6 months. Wow, it feels like a decade. Over 6 months since El Salvador became the first country in the world to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender, though the transition has been slow. Could Malaysia be next? Question mark. Deputy Minister of Communications and Multimedia Zahidi Zianul on Monday said the Southeast Asian country should recognize Bitcoin and other crypto assets as legal tender, according to a report from Bloomberg. He said, "We hope the government can allow this," he told Parliament. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry governs highly recognizable sectors like broadcasting and internet infrastructure, as well as a litany of smaller areas such as digital signatures. What? Malaysia's executive branch also includes a Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation, as well as Finance, both of which would likely have to weigh in on any government plans to adopt crypto. Malaysia's government hasn't given many signs that it's considering an El Salvador-style leap into crypto. Like many other countries, it is researching a central bank digital currency. This was incredibly popular. It was all over the place. Why? Because somebody mentioned insert country name here and Bitcoin as legal tender, and people completely lost their minds. I would like to believe that prices did not move up or are not moving up simply because of this news. However, it's always a gigantic question mark in the sky because I know that this does excite a lot of people. I'm still waiting. I think the Bitcoin, like the mega conference, is sometime in April, if I'm not mistaken. And we were told that we are going to hear about 3 other countries who are on the cusp of or will be accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. I simply feel like this is a politician who has crypto or believes in crypto who is trying to get other people on board, as opposed to them have already written a law that they are going to be accepting cryptocurrency / Bitcoin as legal tender. If you've seen any of the news like I said, it feels like a literal decade. It's just been 6 months of El Salvador accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have jumped down their throats and have been aggressively having talks with them ever since to tell them to basically back away from what they've been doing. I assume at the same time, as if the US dollar is inflating and looks like it's going to continue crumbling, other countries around the world have probably, let's be realistic, have probably thought the exact same thing. They know that there's unity in numbers, and they probably have gone, hey, if we also accept it and 5 other countries accept it, we have new trading partners and it makes it a lot easier. We no longer fall under the jurisdictions of the US dollar. Sometimes those whispers become very loud, and the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank end up hearing those whispers, and I'm certain at this point it is not just El Salvador on this planet who has done so. And I'm sure the IMF has had a sit down with many other world leaders and said, no, you can't do this. It's just a matter of them flipping the word no and looking at it as the word on, and they go, yeah, okay, let's actually do it. So, at the moment, once again, incredibly popular news. Apparently, it's a reach to try and reach millennials and Gen Z, Gen Z. Sure, why not? So, if this does happen, you bet your bottom dollar we are going to hear a lot about this, especially if any bill gets proposed in any level of parliament. But yeah, very popular news. Let's see if it happens. And I'm waiting more so to hear what the other 3 countries are going to be at this upcoming gigantic Bitcoin conference. And without further ado, let's move on. Here's the other gigantic news. Goldman Sachs just became the first major U.S. bank to have made an over-the-counter, crypto, wow, lost my place really fast. Over-the-counter cryptocurrency transaction, according to an announcement made public. The Wall Street giant bought an over-the-counter Bitcoin non-deliverable option from Galaxy Digital. An over-the-counter Bitcoin non-deliverable option sounds complicated because it is, but it's basically when Goldman Sachs bought a contract betting on the future price of Bitcoin rather than actually buying the digital asset itself. Galaxy Digital is a New York-based cryptocurrency investment firm run by billionaire Mike Novogratz. It has a partnership with Goldman Sachs as a liquidity provider for the investment bank's Bitcoin futures trading desk, which launched last year. Max Minton, Asia Pacific head of digital assets for Goldman Sachs, said in a statement, "We are pleased to have executed our first cash-settled cryptocurrency options trade with Galaxy. This is an important development in our digital assets capabilities and for the broader evolution of the asset class." This, I'm not sure why it was so popular, but it was. I will assumption that it had to do with a major bank getting into, or seemingly for the first time dipping their toes into the cryptocurrency Bitcoin space. If you believe that this is the first time that Goldman Sachs is getting into Bitcoin, I think it's best you leave now. I'm not even making a joke. It is abundantly clear that all these banks already hold massive amounts of Bitcoin. I said before many other years ago, I think that things like this are a distraction, not for the bank, but for the wider public at large. There's, I think, a reason why we have had news before about very wealthy individuals, banking managers, hedge managers, and even question mark banks and countries accumulating physical Bitcoin, but products like this continue to be pushed out to the public. You have to try and make it seem as if cryptocurrencies are extremely dangerous. They're very volatile, which they are, and should not be touched by anyone. At the same exact time, hey, look over here. I have paper Bitcoin. You like paper, right? Because we used to have paper money. So now I'm going to give you this as a non-deliverable swap, futures, execution fund, whatever kind of name they give all of these things. And this is what the public should use. How many times have we heard Bitcoin bad, blockchain terrible, nobody touch Bitcoin, it's so bad. But if you want to get into Bitcoin, it should be regulated. And we have futures for that. See all those futures? Remember the micro futures? Because no one was touching the actual futures, and many smart people are simply just buying the actual physical coins. Because why would you be betting on something but not actually owning it? Why would you invest in gold but you don't hold any gold? Does that make any sense? Why would you invest in Bitcoin but you're dealing in futures that are denominated in US dollars, which are inflating? So this was incredibly popular news. A lot of people are saying it's really good for the market because it shows banking interest, which there currently wasn't before. These banks have been into crypto since at least 2014, and they're accumulating massive amounts of it. I don't have the article here. It was some other rich person, I don't remember all their names, who announced, I think 3 days ago, how sad he was. Can you imagine being a billionaire? That he did not get into Bitcoin earlier and that he did not take it as seriously as he did then. He said he accumulated, a good fair amount of Bitcoin, maybe a couple $1 million worth, but nothing like he should have actually put into the market. And I think this is exactly where banks are right now. If we are talking about whales manipulating the market and making it seem as if you can buy other orders but still have the price of the market continue to go down, and whatever other mythological ways that they're actually manipulating every single market right now. But it seems a bit weird that all the accumulation has rapidly ramped up, and at the same exact time, so has the premise of, well, you know what? We're going to make Bitcoin legal, and we're going to give 9 other options and futures and all these other things that everyone else should be investing in based in US dollars. But we're going to accumulate Bitcoin. I'm telling you, it is abundantly clear. Why would Goldman Sachs just be getting into cash-settled Bitcoin? So, that's the Goldman Sachs news. Very popular news. I would wish them good luck, but, financial crisis and all that stuff, and they're usually responsible. But yeah, That's the big bank. First time ever touching crypto. How weird that is. News. And let's move on. And to finish things off, and also this is news, amid the frenzy of the launch of Apecoin, Time Magazine, the New York-based news magazine and publisher, has announced that Apecoin will soon be accepted as payment for its digital subscription services. Not even joking. Apecoin is a utility and governance token issued by the Apecoin DAO to Bored Ape and Mutant Ape NFT holders. Since the claiming of Ape began on the 17th of March, it has gone on to become the most traded NFT token among Ethereum whales. I think there are only like 2 or 3 NFT tokens. So I don't... Okay. In April 2021, Time Magazine announced that it would be accepting Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and DOGE, as payments for its digital subscription services. Now, the American news magazine has announced that its users will also be able to pay in Apecoin. What a time to be alive. Did any of you wake up this morning thinking that you would hear that Apecoin would be accepted by Time Magazine? And I know one person has raised their hands. Don't lie to everyone in the class. I'm not mad at it. It was just a bit taken aback. You would assume, I would have assumed, they would have maybe chosen Litecoin or maybe even Ethereum Classic. I could have even seen some Cardano or some Solana sprinkled in there, maybe even some Polkadot, but it's Apecoin. I have no idea how many Apecoin there are. I don't know what it does. I assume you can use it to buy ape clothing. Am I close? I feel like I am. So, yeah, talk about acceptance, utility. I don't know what word was floating around there, but cool. Very happy to hear it. I know there are definitely some Apecoin holders out there. If you have an ape, don't tell other people. That's no one else's business but your own. Yeah. Cool. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and Let's Move On, Empire Queen, Fud, Wiser, Roman, Gaba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, there we go. Space Case, Nita Miracle, Pat Ternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High XRP, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Setsuna, Richie Wish III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola Michelle URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, who has commented, or who has subscribed. I do very much appreciate it. Let's see. If you're still here watching the video, in the comment section, type in which coin you think Time Magazine should have listed instead of Apecoin. At the moment, Bitcoin is at $42,083. It is down by 0.43%. Like I told you, it's down, but it's not down, because this could easily say 16%, so it's still a very good day. Ethereum is scratching the literal surface of $3,000 right now. Cardano is up by 3.5%. Polkadot is up by 2.7% as well. Where's the big gainer? I just saw it. And Ethereum Classic is up by 7.77%. I really do assume that this actually has to do with, we are getting constant news that we are getting a lot closer to the merge. We had news a day or two ago about the finalization of the testnet and all these other really crazy thing. So I assume this is kind of just the maybe logical next step for people who have bought all this equipment. They don't want it to go to waste, so they simply are moving on to, if you will, the classic version of Ethereum. Internet Computer is up by 10%. Elron eGold is up by 4%. VeChain Thor is up by 2%. Filecoin is up by 4%. Compound Ether is up by 6% on $58,000 of trading volume, so sure, why not? Clayton is up by 3%. Tezos is up by 3%. Helium is logically up by 6%. And yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having, wow, that has $3 trading volume. I feel like that shouldn't even be in the top 9,000 coins. How do you even make it to position? It's number 52. You might not be able to see it because it's the screen cut off. $3 worth of transaction volume. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.